My name is Nick Nelson. I work in quality assurance and I am the inspection supervisor of the department. So I oversee 5 or 6 guys that kind of do the inspection throughout the shop for all the parts that we create here at Mackay Manufacturing. Basically encompasses anything from drawing review to inspection tools to creating programs for the machinists out there, or just overseeing the overall production, whether the parts are going to outside processing, if they're coming in from external processing, and just making sure the parts are made to the customer blueprint. Quality starts as soon as the material arrives in the building. So we're right there when the material arrives, verifying the material is correct. Do we have the right diameter of the material, the size, cut to length? After that, we verify the processes it's going to go to. So if it's going to go to a machining process, we need to make sure that the programs are set up accordingly. Do we have the correct inspection instruments? And do we have all the external processes, if it goes out for a plating, set up accordingly? We're also basically the last line of defense. We're the ones that are inspecting the parts before they head out to the customer. So got to make sure all the documentation is correct and then give them out to shipping. I've worked here for 10 years. Actually, I started in shipping and receiving, and it was interesting to see how Mackay, the parts that we created, and how it affects people's lives and how it affects the airplanes that we go on. And I wanted to be involved in that. And then my thought was to go into quality assurance. So I did some training there. I started a couple hours a day, and then eventually I was allowed to move up into the department. And it allowed me to actually understand, Mackay Manufacturing as a whole. Pretty cool. You see from a lot of the medical instruments that we create actually help people walk, and when you see that worked on kids, and you see the kids that couldn't walk before, and then they get these tools that are used to straighten out their spine or something like that, it's really cool to see these kids come back and they're walking, and then you see parts that are going up in into space onto the rocket ships, and then it goes down to making parts for golf clubs. There's just a wide array of components that we create around here. Do you have the ability to learn? Do you have the drive? Do you want to stay hungry? And ultimately that'll get you moved up the ladder and become, I don't know, maybe the owner of the company or something someday, who knows? I think the most rewarding aspect of the job is when you're out there and you determine the solution. You guys come up with a process that's going to work going forward, and you see that effect of everybody who is involved with the process, and their reward of they understand that. They get what's going to be required and they move that through, and it's a good feeling. How would I describe the manufacturing industry? Is it's continuously evolving, right? So the products that we created 10 years ago aren't anything near what they are today. It's just the technology has grown significantly in the last 10 years to see how everything is bigger, faster, stronger. It's the idea of lean manufacturing is another term that we try to do around here, which is how do you figure out to make your job easier tomorrow? What can you do today to make your job easier tomorrow? So that is a big component of it. There is some schooling you could take courses on. There's some courses at the Falls at Spokane SFCC, or if they can go to the community colleges. Each college or university that's around here provides an inspection or manufacturing background, which nowadays is more vital than it was 10 years ago because there was more on-job training. Now, if you're coming in, you need to understand that how to operate a micrometer or a caliper, or make a CMM program for a Zeiss Contura coordinate measuring machine. So there are multiple classes you can take. Also, Mackay Manufacturing does provide anybody with a class if they would like to enhance their knowledge of a process. So Mackay is willing to help out the employee because ultimately that's what they're invested in, is the employees.